Good morning, Morai Rabotai. We're continuing on Shulchan Aruch, Rachaim, Siman Samechet, the start of the Siman, which is really one long Seif, not because of Maran, but the Ramah is a longer piece. That the person should not interrupt with songs in the middle of the tefillah. Now, Maran writes, and this is already from the time of the Rishonim, the Tshuvot of the Ramah, that's brought down in Bet Yosef in the name of Rambam, in the name of Ramah, in Chol Kriyat Shema, that there are places that there's a custom that in the middle of Birkot Kriyat Shema, they would pause for singing good things. The Shvachim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of course, nothing that's not related to Tefillah, but nevertheless is not part of the institution of Chazal. They instituted Birkot Kriyat Shema, and it's very clear. The Mishnah is very clear. The Gemara is very clear. They say two brachot beforehand, afterwards one bracha in the morning, two brachot at night, and the text of Shema is clear. The Parasha Rishonah, Shniya, and the Parasha of Vayomer. It's pretty clear what Chazal had in mind for us and instituted for us to say. And therefore, Maran kind of rejects this minhag of pausing in the middle of Shema. Even though that this was minhag and it was for praises of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it gives you an idea of when we talk about hefsek, what is considered hefsek. Maran writes, Yesh mekomot shemafsikim b'birkot kriyat shema lomar piyutim. There are places that they have this minhag of stopping to say piyutim. Maran says you should change the minhag. Of course, not because machloket, but change the minhag because that's considered hefsek. The Chafetz Chaim, the Mishna Berurah, writes that even though that the Ramah over here says en isur, he brings the Ramah over here brings from Rabbeinu Yonah, that even though Rabbeinu Yonah was one of the Rishonim of the Sfaradim, he was the mechutan with the Ramban, by the way. Ramban's son Shlomo married Rabbeinu Yonah's daughter. Rabbeinu Yonah was older than the Ramban, but nevertheless, from Chachmei Sfaradim. So he brings Yesh Omrim De'en Isur B'davar. There are those who say it's not Asur, says the Ramah. Now Chafetz Chaim writes on that because what the Gemara says in Masechet Brachot of Yud Aleph Amud Bet, that makom she'amru leharich eno rashai lekatzer and lekatzer eno rashai leharich. That Gemara seems to indicate that you can't elongate the bracha that you have in Birkot Kriyat Shema. It's not said about Birkot Aruchot shepotchot bebaruch v'chotmot bebaruch. It's only said by the bracha that starts with the baruch, ends with baruch. And then you're not Rasha, you're not allowed to not start with Baruch or not end with Baruch. It's just talking, the Gemara is just simply talking about how you start and how you end. It's not talking about literally how long it is and how many words you're saying in the middle. It's not talking about pausing in the middle and saying Shvachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's not necessarily included in that. Now, Rambam writes in Chol Kriyat Shema, Kilalo shel davar. This is the language of Rambam. This is in Perek Aleph, Halacha Zayin of Chol Kriyat Shema. Kol ha-meshaneh mimatbea shtavu chachamim bebrachot. If you change the instituted text of the brachot, harei ze to'eh, you're making a mistake. Vechozer umevarech kematbea. And you have to go back and say the bracha like Chazal instituted, and Maran Kesef Mishneh writes, this is the author of Shulchan Aruch on Rambam, he writes, see if you have the language of Maran over here. So Maran writes here, Perek Aleph Milchot Brachot, right there. דווקא אם פתח בברכה במקום שלא תקנו לפתוח, או חתם במקום שאמרו שלא לחתום. It's only in a place that They said to start the bracha, you didn't. They said you should end the bracha, you didn't. Or chiser mibrachot ha'aruchot, or you just skipped the beginning of the bracha, tchalat bracha, that starts with the name of Hashem, B'Shem U'Malchut, or it should end with Shem U'Malchut, Baruch Atah Hashem, and you didn't end it with bracha. That's what it's talking about. Therefore, is not a problem. That's how the Chafetz Chaim really explains this. But at the same time that you have that, a very interesting the Kaf HaChaim writes that Ari HaKadosh actually used to have a minhag of saying piyutim in the middle of tefillah. So this becomes now a very interesting thing. Ari HaKadosh, by the way, was half Ashkenazi, half Sfaradi. His mother was Egyptian. His father was Ashkenazi. Now, what he chose to be as his minhagim, especially the Seder Tefillah, was very different than the Nusach Ashkenaz. So therefore, the associated this Nusach Sfarad is much more associated with Arizal than Nusach Ashkenaz, and that's why many people don't even know that Arizal was from his father's side was from the Kehilot of Ashkenazim. But nevertheless, the Arizal had this minhag. He would say piyutim in the beginning, in the middle of Birkat Yotzer, but at the same time, he adds the Kaf HaChaim that our minhag is not to do it. Our minhag is like Maran. Even though the Ari HaKadosh would do it, and it's a deviation from Arizal's minhag, but the Maaseh, we do not stop the Birkot Kriyat Shema with saying piyutim, and that's what the Ben Ish Chai says as well. So halakha l'maaseh for us, the minhag is not to do it, and therefore we don't do it. And in a place that they have a minhag to do it that way, let's say, for instance, there are places that have minhag that before Nishmat Kol Chai, they have, when they have a chatan in the shul, or they have a brit milah, and they say piyutim lechavod brit milah or lechavod chatan bekala before Nishmat on Shabbat morning. So Chacham Obadiah Yosef writes that this is not a minhag nachon. En ruach chachamim lucha emenu. He writes, chachamim would not be happy with this minhag, basically following the footsteps of Maran Shulchan Aruch, and therefore it's better to nullify the minhag, of course, behaskamat hakahal, without creating machloket. You speak with them, b'darkei noam, little by little. You give the shiur on it to educate people. Israel kedoshim. Baruch Hashem, Bnei Israel, they want to do the right thing. If you educate them, if they know that there are those who don't allow it, then they will listen. And therefore, best is to do it after Kaddish Titkabar, says Chacham Obadiah. Instead of doing the same piyutim in the middle of Tefillah, wait for Shaliach Tzibur to finish, say Kaddish Titkabar, which is the end of Tefillat Shacharit, then you want to sing away, Kol HaKavod, you could sing away. And Ben Ish Chai basically writes the same thing. Kaf HaChaim writes the same thing. So that is the general minhag of Sfaradim, even though that the Chafetz Chaim tries to justify the minhag that the Ramah brings. Nevertheless, our minhag has been not to do it, and that's what the Gedolei HaPoskim write. Bezrat Hashem, we will continue this in the days to come.